So, a trial has begun in the state of Colorado this week to remove Donald Trump's name from the ballot in that state for the 2024 election. You see, Democrats care so much about democracy, guys. Democracy is literally at stake in this next election. And the only way that we can save democracy in the United States of America is to weaponize the legal system in order to stop Americans from being able to vote for the guy who's probably going to be the Republican nominee. Whether it be putting him in jail by indicting him 4 times on fake crimes, stretching out the meaning of criminal statutes and applying them in ways they've never been done before, whether it's ridiculous civil lawsuits to try and destroy his family's business like the Attorney General of New York is doing, or whether it be to remove him from the ballot entirely. This is by far the most ridiculous and insane attempt to get Trump that we've seen yet. The organization that brought this lawsuit against Donald Trump is a quote-unquote nonpartisan government watchdog called Citizens for Responsibility and Ethics in Washington. This organization has received millions of dollars from George Soros and has been suing Trump for various reasons ever since 2018. The basis for their lawsuit comes from the 14th Amendment, Section 3 of which says that anybody that shall have engaged in insurrection or rebellion against the United States is disqualified from public office. The reason that this was included in the 14th Amendment at the time it was passed was to stop former Confederate politicians and military officers from being able to serve in the United States government. And the idea is that because Donald Trump engaged in an insurrection on January 6th, that the American people should now be disqualified from being able to vote for him in the 2024 election. Now, the judge who somehow found her way to presiding over this case is a woman named Sarah Wallace. She was appointed in 2022 by Colorado Governor Jared Polis to the 2nd Judicial District Court. And not only is Sarah Wallace a longtime donor to various Democrat politicians and causes, but 2 months after receiving that appointment to the district court, Sarah Wallace donated $100 to an organization called the Colorado Turnout Project. This organization is a Democrat super PAC that was formed with the specific intention of removing Democrat Congresswoman Lauren Boebert from office, due to the fact that she supported Donald Trump as he was challenging the results of the 2020 election. They aim to strengthen Colorado's Democrat congressional majority and remove the 3 Republican seats that are currently held in their state. So you have a judge in the case who has an obvious conflict of interest. She's obviously a political actor. Yet she will now get to decide whether or not Donald Trump's name appears on the 2024 ballot in Colorado. Not only that, but the entire basis for the case is completely nuts. Donald Trump never once encouraged people to actually storm the Capitol on January 6th. He told them in his speech prior to the events that happened to remain peaceful and patriotic. And he never, actually took up arms against the United States, which was the entire purpose of this clause in the 14th Amendment in the first place. Not only that, but insurrection is an actual criminal statute in American law. And when Jack Smith unsealed his stupid indictments against Donald Trump for January 6th, he did not, in fact, charge Donald Trump with insurrection. In fact, none of the over 1,000 January 6 defendants that have been charged by Biden's DOJ were charged with insurrection either. Jack Smith has all of the political cover and willpower behind him in order to have done that, and yet he didn't do it, because he knows that he wouldn't have a case. So in the absence of an actual criminal charge for insurrection, what in the hell makes these people think they can actually use this constitutional provision in order to remove his name from the ballot? And the answer is they don't care. It's a liberal jurisdiction. It's a liberal jurisdiction that will have a jury probably explicitly full of Joe Biden voters that will undoubtedly vote to do it. All for the protection of democracy, you see. Their idea of protecting quote-unquote democracy is weaponizing the legal system in order to stop you from being able to vote for him again. If this was happening in Russia, I'm sure all of these same Democrats would be calling for regime change. But it's happening in America. Because it turns out that the idea of democracy Democrats have for this country looks a lot similar to Vladimir Putin's Russia. And I full well could see this case going all the way to the Supreme Court. And I don't doubt for 1 second that more liberal states are going to follow Colorado's lead.